How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier show is going to give you. My name is Mathew Park. This is Jaime Filer.
Hey guys.
And we are here to serve.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Trainer Revenue Multiplier podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jaime Filer, and I am joined today by two very special guests, Micah and Diana LaCerte of HitchFit, of RockBody retreats, of, oh my gosh, of so many things. You guys wear so many different hats. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and making time today.
What a blessing and opportunity to be here. We are so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on, Jaime.
It is our pleasure. Mathew couldn't stop raving about you after the RockBody retreat. I mean, the guy was giddy. I'm pretty sure he's still on a high. So tell people a little bit about the hats that you wear, what you do. I love the tank top. Tell us about yourselves.
You first?
All right. Well, I guess I get to go first. As you said, I'm Diana LaCerte, and Micah and we have been the owners of HitchFit, our online personal training, and we have gyms in Kansas City. We are hitting, we hit 14 years of running that business in February. So we're one of the OGs.
OGs.
We're one of the OGs in that space. So it's been very interesting and very rewarding to be able to be in the industry. We do transformation and training has kind of been our lane since the very get-go. So we work with clients all over the world. We have clients in 81 countries. We've helped them shed over 600,000 pounds of fat since we started. And then we have 2 brick and mortar gyms in Kansas City and a team of trainers here. So we do some one-on-one and kind of the same thing that we do in the online space. It's just we actually have the one-on-one interaction with people. And then, as you mentioned, we're now part of RockBody retreats. So we're kind of taking the transformation journeys just to another level and taking them to places like Mexico. And we have a trip coming up in Asheville in September, and really just kind of digging deep and just getting to that interaction time. And it's, we're having fun on the beach, but we're also just really getting to know people and figuring out how we can help them where they are at in their journey and how we can just kind of push them forward so that they can level up.
Level up. I mean, we just enjoy waking up every single day, Jaime, and just like giving back to people. We both went through our own transformations, many years ago. We understood how that felt, how that made us much more successful in life, and in our clarity and our focus and confidence and strength, and then being able to kind of be a part of other people's transformations, we found out was even more rewarding than our own transformation itself. And so we've been slightly addicted to transforming people's lives for many decades now. We talk about addiction as something bad. I don't really look at it as bad. I just enjoy helping and making as big of an impact as possible. We've done that through HitchFit, and now, our new baby in RockBody with Britt, we're trying to help transform people's lives there as well.
That's absolutely incredible. And I know that both of you competed. I don't know if Diana told you, Micah, I don't know if, one second, let me start this again because I'm really still fangirling. Diana, I saw you on stage for the first time in 2004 in Toronto, Ontario in Fame, and you had a torso that just kept going. And I said, holy shit, if she doesn't win everything all the time, it's incredible. I was 17 and my eyes were like, oh my God.
Wow.
So to interview you now,
I love that.
Absolutely incredible. Right. Which is why I'm going to try to work on my elocution. But how do you guys transition out of the competitor space and into the service and impact industry?
How did we do? Well, I think for me, so when I first competed, when I started Fame, I had gone through my transformation maybe a year or so before that, but I struggled with my weight, and I had these dreams within the fitness industry. Like I had Oxygen magazines everywhere, and like literally just, like tear the pages out, and I had Monica Brantz and, you know, everybody just all over my walls. And I was like, man, I want to do that someday. I got to be that someday. But in the meantime, I was overeating. I was drinking a lot. I was just not taking care of myself. I was working out, but I would just had these really horrible habits that were sabotaging me. And I kind of just woke up one day and I was like, I'm so sick of feeling like this. And I'm so sick of having these dreams and these goals. And I know that like the path I'm on is not going to get me where those girls are. And it was kind of just an aha moment. I flipped everything. I mean, I cut you know, whether it was just people that were bad influences on me and just the negative habits. And I completely just focused on, I want to compete. I want to get on stage. I want to be in magazines. Like, I got to find my people, you know, I just got to figure out, like, I know people are doing this. I got to figure out how to get there. So I went through that journey myself, and it was hard. You know, I lost 50 pounds to step on my first stage. And like, I had no idea I had abs. Like, who knew? I mean, and you know, as I got leaner, I remember when I very first saw them, and I would be like in the mirror, like, oh, there's like a shadow, you know, you'd be like, did you see that? And it was so exciting to like know that discipline had led to that result, and I just wanted more. And you know, and going through that, how it changed me and how it changed the complete trajectory of my life. Literally, I wouldn't have met him. We wouldn't have HitchFit. All of these things that make my life so full, I wouldn't have any of them if I hadn't chosen that path. And so I want people to experience that too. So that's kind of, it's like, I got to go through it, and I know what it feels like on that side, and I know what it feels like on this side. And I want people to feel that too. So that's kind of where it comes from for me.
I came from the other direction. So I was like really skinny and kind of insecure about being skinny. I had a kind of a adult bully growing up, and it was very difficult, and that can kind of shatter, you know, a lot of your confidence and stuff as a young boy. And then, you know, when I got to college, I was like, man, I'm going to take control back. And much like her, it was like, I wanted to look like the guys on the covers of the magazines. My idol at that time was like Van Damme. I was like, man, I want to look like that dude. And it looked like an attainable body. You know, it wasn't like a gigantic bodybuilder. It was a body that I really thought, you know, if I put some work in, I could get to. And then I just remember like that was 97. And then in 05, I got on my first cover. And I mean, I started at 138 pounds, and I was living in Kansas City, which had no fitness at all.
Yeah.
And to make that happen, it was just like a lot of drive, a lot of discipline. And so she came up in the competitor space. I came up in the fitness modeling space. So doing all the magazines, and I did some TV reality and whatnot. And so then when we met, she kind of like guilted me into competing. Her and Paul Villette were like, dude, you have to step on stage. And I was like, I don't want to step on stage, dude. I like doing the magazine stuff. And so then I got on there, and I remember the first year I got on there, I was like, I was not ready. And I got 9th in the world. Like, my body was in a decent place, but like my stage presence was terrible. And then 2 years later, I won the world championship. So it was like, you know, like, and then I retired. But she always had passion towards that. We were able to kind of utilize a lot of that success when we opened up HitchFit in 09. You know, but there were a lot of years before that working on building into not only our personal growth and clout, but also building the framework and foundation for what would be HitchFit.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about the birth of HitchFit, Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, you alluded to it a little bit before, right? People could say, oh, but it's so small. Oh, but it's nothing but farm. Like, how do you overcome? What was your thought process? What did you manifest? What did you visualize? How did you utilize the law of attraction or Facebook ads in order to grow a brick and mortar in Kansas City, Missouri?
So she's talking Facebook ads. I'm going to bring you back to MySpace. So Jaime, I'm about to blow your mind with this. So, you know algorithms and how Facebook works. I was a social media guy. I loved marketing. I loved fitness. And so I lived in Kansas City, but what I did was with MySpace is the algorithm was like very simple. It was post, and it forced everyone to see it. that was on your friends list. So all I kept thinking was, if I can grow a giant friends list, everyone will be forced to see everything I post. And so, I mean, I built it to like 150,000 people on MySpace, and my nickname was Hitch. You didn't even use your real name at that point.
Yeah.
And so my nickname was Hitch. She didn't even know my real name for like the longest time. And then, you know, one by one, what I started doing, it was like kind of facilitating in the fitness magazines to build a little bit of relevance. And then from there, I was doing this transformation type of training in Kansas City, one-on-one with my clients, which I was really inspired by Bill Phillips many years before that in '97 with EAS and Body for Life. And then I had this girl from Canada named Mo who reached out in like 05, 06 and was like, man, I wish I could work with you. You know, and I was like, it was the light bulb. I had never seen online personal training before that. It was not being like marketed anywhere. And so I was like, you know what, I'll make you a plan. 4 months later, she's down like 30 or 40 pounds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have something here. But, you know, I was like one of the pioneers in the space. So it's like trying to explain to people what it actually is, because all we know is conventional one-on-one training.
Right.
You know, and so that's where it evolved. When we met in 08, I was showing her exactly what I was doing. I knew she would one day be my wife. Like, and I was right in the creation of launching HitchFit. And then she, you know, God presented me this amazing gift. And then all of a sudden it was like, it was a marriage all in one. And HitchFit was the baby.
Wow. Okay. So it didn't fall into your lap. You obviously worked very hard, right? 150,000 people doesn't just happen. And obviously you have to convince them and build social proof that your gym is the go-to space. So I guess the first nugget that we can take away from people listening is, what would you tell people who say, oh, my city is just too small, or my network is just too small, I can't grow the way HitchFit has grown?
Oh, I mean, I think the thing is, like, we didn't take shortcuts. It was a lot of just, there's the work that you have to do. And it's just, you got to, if you're starting small, just start small, but you just keep building it. And we built HitchFit on content. We didn't have a lot of money. We were literally living in an attic for the first 2 years of HitchFit. And we played Zelda. That was like date night, because we didn't go out. We didn't have any money. Like, I didn't even have a car. Like, we walked to the gym. He had a car. We had one car, but you know, so it was just like, it was all we did, but we took what we had, and then we just added a little more, and we added a little more. So it's like, you can't give up. I think that's the thing, is like, if you have something, you keep building on it, and then you build a little more on it. And for us, it was the transformations and figuring out, like, and not everybody shares their story, but when we had people that were like, felt so impacted by what had happened in their lives and their bodies and how they felt, they wanted to share their stories. So when we had those people, we still do. I just had an amazing photo shoot on Saturday with this amazing story we're going to be putting out, and we've just been consistent with that method of just, we take them through that process, and then we want them to feel amazing and celebrated. And so when we got people that would share their stories, we just have been so consistent with content. And now it's like to the point where there are so many thousands of HitchFit transformations, but it started with Mo up in Canada, you know? And so it just kind of grew from there. And then we always figured, if we can take someone through that process, 10 of their friends are going to want to come to HitchFit or work with us online or come to the gyms. And so it's like, our transformation wall used to be like this little billboard, like a little bulletin board. And now it's literally, we literally don't have any space on the walls anymore for pictures.
And
you know,
stored in the cloud. It's too big. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Cool. So 14 years running a business. I mean, you mentioned two, I guess, I don't want to say secrets to success, because it's not a secret. Consistency with methodology. You said consistency with posting, consistency with building authority. What else do you think has been able to keep you guys not just running a business, but running the same business for so long, when people constantly have to reinvent themselves to keep up?
I think it comes down to a couple different things. Number one, and I alluded to this earlier, I think it's really important to not put all of your energy into the business when we're talking about social media. Okay. And what I mean by this is, people get tired of seeing sales. It's important to also bring in a personal aspect of yourself to social media. This now makes you relatable in a lot of different situations. So I purposely share a lot of stuff that's going on in our lives. People need to see the ups and downs of your life, along with the trials and storms you go through, not only in your business, but your personal. Now, not everybody is going to be okay with that. Some people are a lot more private. It's been very beneficial to us, though, because people then feel connected to you. With connection comes trust. And for us, I think a big part of that is the relationships that we build. We're authentic. We love transforming people. That there's no denying that. But at the same time, you have to have a specific discipline and consistency every single day in how you're utilizing your platform. It's not a place to just spill out emotion. It's a place to lift people up. If our message at HitchFit is, hey, we're helping people transform their bodies and lives, then I'm not going to put stuff on the internet that is going to bring people down. That, regardless of what's going on in our life. Now, we share some ups and downs in our lives, but that, again, helps people to become relatable with us. The other thing that's a big, big deal is you need to be able to show success with what you are doing. And for us in the gym world, our success is our people. So a lot of times we don't have to spread that message. They do it for us, right? Like, you make those relationships and you go in and transform somebody's life and you make them feel better and look better and everything that's connected with that. They are actively out being your number one promoter, and for us, we don't even ask that. They just are like, dude, I want to be a part of this. This is amazing. Thank you for changing my life. My husband lost 25 pounds because I was eating better. My kid now wants to go be active. Like, you see the ripple effect with it. And we only worked with one person in the family. And that's what it's really about.
Wow, that's amazing. So you guys have seen so much success with HitchFit Online, the 2 gyms. When did you decide you were just going to take on a completely different idea with RockBody retreats? How did you know it was a good time? What made you even interested in the idea in the first place?
Well, it's kind of funny because it was something that we had talked about retreats before, and we love traveling. If we're not at the gym, I'm planning a trip. It's just like we're going to Norway in 14 days, and I'm can't wait. I've been planning this trip for so long. But so retreats was kind of in our, I can look back in my journals and things and see where it was written. I was man, this is kind of something that I would like to do someday. And we had actually, at our 10-year anniversary of HitchFit, we had done a little retreat, but it really wasn't what we had envisioned. It was just more, we kind of went and did some hiking with some people. But in 2000, let's see, a little over a year ago, last January. Yep. Travis and Brittany just reached out to us, and RockBody was their baby. They had started RockBody in 2020. They also love traveling. They competed with the WBFF. We didn't know them. They had been following us for stalking a little bit. There may have been a little bit of stalking happening there. But because Travis he was a unicorn of a human being, and he just was just lit up a room. But he just reached out. He was so persistent, and finally we got on a Zoom call with him last January. I mean, it's crazy that it was only a little over a year ago. And they had a retreat coming up that was going to be in May of 2022. They asked us to partner with them, and they kind of already have the structure, and we clicked with them immediately. We just fell in love with them, which is hard because we're our circle's small. Yeah. We just come together and we're you ain't getting in the circle. And they got in the circle so fast. we were yeah, okay, we'll travel with you. And we're what?
What is going on?
But so it was absolutely incredible time. We were like, the four of us after that event, we were like, wow, it is just, because it was so much deeper. It wasn't just us working out, like people were sharing and they were being vulnerable and they were connecting on all of these levels. And it was so beautiful. And we were like, man, people are craving like this authenticity, and they're taking their masks off. And it wasn't, oh, hey, look at me, I do this and I have all of this money and things. It was like, people were like, man, here's what I'm struggling with. It's like, oh man, like I'm struggling with this too. Well, like, let's lift each other up. That's what it was. It's absolutely beautiful. So we were like, we were planning the trip for this year, which was back in March. And, sadly, Travis was passed in February and he was up in Wyoming snowmobiling. And so it was, literally, we got a phone call. We were texting 1 minute, and about 2 or 3 hours later, got a call that he was gone. And this was 5 or 6 weeks before the retreat. And Britt and they have twin boy and girl, 11-year-old twins. And so we kind of were like, we had this vision. We're like, God has this big plan, and then we're like, God was like, oh, we're going a different way. And so we realized we had to be very strong, because a lot of people were now coming into this with a lot of emotion, and this retreat was going to look a little different than we anticipated. And I'm telling you, it was one of the most incredible experiences of either of our lives. And we had, again, it was 85 people. It doubled in size from what we had last year. And it was just so beautiful and so powerful. And there was a lot of raw emotion, but people just, oh my goodness, it was just like, just such a powerful, life-changing thing, where it's like we came together, and there was hurt, but we lifted each other up and we helped each other through it. And people were just walking away like, this is life-changing. So even though it's gone a different, we miss him terribly. And he was just, I wish you could have known him. Like, you just would have loved him. He literally was just one of those people that made everybody feel incredible. But we are like, God brought us all together for a reason. And if we're supposed to pick up this ball and keep running with it, then that's what we're going to do. So,
I mean, it's important to carry on the vision that we all four had too, him and Britt creating RockBody, and then us coming in and kind of refining it. And adding elements to it that weren't initially in it, but after it was like infused within the RockBody, they were both like, whoa. And I was like, this is different, man. This isn't just, foam parties and getting wasted. Like, that's not what this is. We're going to go in and kind of bring an element of what we do at HitchFit, but even deeper. And do it in really a weekend, pretty much period of time of 4 nights and 5 days. And like, Mathew was there, Marcus, like these people, anyone. I mean, Marcus left and was like, that was the most amazing event I've ever been at ever. Like, that was unreal. And I said, we have something extremely special here, and a group of individuals that are willing to pour themselves out, that have been extremely successful in whatever field that they're at, but they understand the bigger picture of what it is that we're creating.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And I was fortunate enough, Mathew and I interviewed Travis 10 days before he passed away. And he lived in Tampa. After the interview, he stayed on. He said, take my number. We're going to train at MI40 together. I know what you mean by unicorn. Literally a 30-minute interview. The guy gave me his phone number. It was amazing. Yeah. Good memories. Sure. But I mean, I'd like to segue into essentially our last topic. And I love that you brought up Brittany and Travis, because you've got the two of you, Brittany and Travis. It does take a lot of work to maintain a marriage while running a business, and maintain a business while running a marriage. So, how do you guys balance it? What's the secret to that success?
Well, I think with us, the luckily, like, we are time people. We both, our primary love language is time. So that is a good thing. Yeah. Because it does a lot of time together. But it's what we prefer. I know a lot of couples, like, that's they don't want to be together necessarily all the time. So that is actually what works well for us. And just communication, like we communicate about everything. Like it's a lot of words.
And I can only consume so many words per day. Yeah.
But I think like our rules are just, we also are very protective of our date nights and our just time together too. Like we talk business a lot, but we do, that's another reason we travel a lot, is like it's a perspective change. It is a, you know, we love hiking. Like if like I love the beach, but I would rather be on a mountain somewhere. And it's just to go and just like do things that are physical, but that we're like conquering things together, and we just love it. So it's just a very connecting time. We've always been really good about just protecting those boundaries of like, of this is our marriage and this is our business. Like there's a lot of, you know, we'll be hiking up the mountain and hey, how about this idea? You know, there's obviously that, but we also know we are in a position where we have to pour out for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are looking to us to be their rock, or they're, you know, they're coming to us like, you know, I need you emotionally or whatever. So we have to be just so protective of this relationship and make sure this is strong, and then make sure individually we're strong too, so that we actually have enough to pour out and to give to people too.
Yeah, it's so crucial, because we wake up with that desire to want to help every single person, but like she said, like you only have so much in you that you can give per day, and it's important that there's some left for the marriage, a good amount for the marriage, and so for us, you got to make sure that you're recharging. Communication is gigantic, and recharging, and then never going to bed angry at one another. That is like another gigantic thing. Like if there's an issue, then we take care of it, you know, and we're not big arguers or fight, you know, like after 14 years of a business and being married as long as we have, like you just hash it out, because there's other things we got to, you know, other things we got to work on and whatnot. And, you know, you do better next time, you know, type of situation. Which usually applies to me. Like pick your laundry up. You didn't clean out your shaker.
It's usually laundry and
the shakers,
shaker bottles that didn't get cleaned out.
I mean, yeah. So
really
yeah. But I also have 17 social media pages to manage every single day with content. So sometimes I forget a shaker here and there. But long story short, like it can be kind of a difficult thing to manage for some people, but if you communicate right, and that goes with marriage in general, you know, it's a unique thing to also run a business together, and then still make sure that the flame of your love is really, really flaming hard too, you know, because you just, you know, we remember being in that attic and having nothing, and now having much more. But what is staying foundational is our faith, our love with one another, our lifestyle, some things that were non-negotiable from day one.
Yeah.
And once those are set in place and there's issues, you take care of them and you move on.
That is the most perfect advice. So that leaves us in a place where I'm going to need to request a part 2, because while we talk a little bit of relationships and a little bit of business, I'd like a separate episode just devoted to relationships and another one just about your business. But before you guys go, any last words of advice for a budding young entrepreneur who wants to start their own online personal training business?
If you're starting a brand new online personal training business, we kind of resorted to this before, but it's the day in, day out grind of content, relationships, building a program that is successful. This is not going to be something that a lot of people are going to agree with unless you know exactly what I'm saying. And what I mean by that is putting people first before money. And the reason I say that is because when you're chasing money, you are going to be in a roller coaster of emotion and up and down. And depending on how that fluctuation of money happens within the business, is also your emotional state, which then carries over into your business, where you're feeling this pressure and whatnot. And early on, we had nothing. So we understood the importance of like getting our finances and being disciplined, but it comes down to that. Like, you got to be financially disciplined for a while when you don't have a lot either. And then just putting people number one, and the success of those people, because they are your biggest cheerleaders. They are going to be the people that help you get to the next level.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. So if I may summarize, it sounds like impact over income.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. Diana, anything else you'd add?
I would say I would agree with that, and I would just say figure out what your lane is and who your specific person is that you want to help. And you're not going to be everybody. Like, you can't be everything to everybody. So figure out who is your people, and then just stay in that. I think it's good to just figure out your lane and stay in that lane instead of being scattered all over the place.
Yeah. Instead of a jack of all trades,
Yep.
like a small niche.
Yeah.
And that is what you specialize in, and become the best at that.
Yeah. I love that. Matthew often alludes to going a mile deep instead of a mile wide with your training business. So 100% awesome. Micah, you mentioned 17 Instagram social media pages. Where can people find you? What are the main ones where if people want to get into
HitchFit.com is our website. Our other one is RockBodyRetreat.com. Mr. HitchFit on Instagram.
I mean, if you look up HitchFit, it's like
HitchFit are our names.
We have personal pages. Diana Shalou, there's HitchFit. I have one page that's just fit over 40 women. That's the majority of what I work with now is women over 40. So we're not hard to find. Like, if you look up HitchFit or RockBody, like, you're going to find us.
Awesome. Well, guys, I can't thank you enough for your time and your energy. And thank you for letting me into your circle for 30 minutes.
Thank you.
Of course. If you like what you heard, please make sure that you subscribe, like, share, rate us, tag us on your social media pages. We will share back. And in the meantime, looking forward to having the LaCertes back for more wisdom, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. Seriously.